Cool. Right. As Lina said, I am Ali from Painting Pixels, and I know we probably have the last speaker syndrome, so we'll try and be a bit more happy-clappy if we can, a bit more louder. So maybe we'll do a trick that they use on TV to try and get the crowd going a little bit. I don't know. So maybe we'll all just say really loud out loud, say like Lightwave all together. Ready? So 3, 2, 1, Lightwave! I think you have to do it 3 times in TV. So once more, Lightwave! And finally, Lightwave! There we go. Thank you very much, guys. Right, okay. Last speaker syndrome, none of that no more. Right. So, as we said, I am Ali. I'm from a company called Painting Pixels. We are indeed a multimedia design studio, as our second strapline little piece there says. So, we are a company, we're based in East Anglia, so about 3 hours from here, quite close to London. And we do, well, again, as the name suggests, we are multimedia, so we don't strictly just stick with 3D. We do all sorts of other bits, so it is 3D animation, 2D animation, graphic design, website design, video production, VFX, and app designs. But all of that does have Lightwave at its core. Lightwave is the piece of software that we started with, and that's kind of what we stuck with. But we haven't always just been like, say, a 3D studio. We have dabbled in a few other bits, being multimedia. Like I said, we do keep Lightwave our core, but we take 3D and use it for other like server sectors, basically. So it's really good what you can do with 3D out there as a career and as a job. It isn't strictly to do with just productions. You don't have to just get into movies with 3D. You can do all sorts of different things, which I'll show you just now. In our studio, we've dabbled with all sorts of different things. We've used a bit of 3D Studio Max, a bit of XSI, a bit of Miah, Cinema 4D, even Blender, and a few other odds and sods here and there. But ultimately, we found, because of the kind of company we are, we ended up using Lightwave, and I'll tell you exactly why as we get on through the presentation. But I'll show you some of the bits and pieces and the different types of services and service sectors that we can cater for using Lightwave. So a little bit of 3D stuff that we've got going on here. So it's not as photorealistic as what Andrew just showed you, but this is a little piece that we've done for Massive Ferguson. It was for an interactive app, so it had to be kind of light and flexible. So again, not as photorealistic, but this is a full Lightwave piece. I don't believe there's been any post-production in that. That was straight from Lightwave. So all your background, all your surfaces, everything purely in Lightwave, and it is an interactive scene. So you can produce, I mean, you guys have seen all day today the kind of amazing things that these other guys have produced. So the kind of things that can come out Lightwave is fantastic. So anyone, we have loads of people who come along, and especially down in that area, there's not very many Lightwave users. They all use 3D Studio Max and Miah, and they're like, Lightwave this and that, you can't do this. And we show them, the kind of things that can be produced, and it can go all the way from TV to cinema to everyday little small scale projects and big projects as well. So that's just a small example. Another vehicle that we've done. And again, like Andrew was just showing, these are pieces that we bring from, actually a lot of that stuff we actually built fresh in Lightwave, because the people who were supposed to give us the CAD models, well, they weren't very good and didn't really supply us with everything that we needed. Some of the bits, again, the same pipeline. We take it through Polytrans. Some of the bits we can just take through FBX. Some of the other bits we just take through OBJ files, bring it to Lightwave, clean it up, texture up, lighter, and do all sorts of bits and bobs like that. And again, another small piece. This was, again, for an interactive piece, so it had to be kind of Lightwave. It didn't need to be photorealistic. It looks a bit squished there, but kind of gives you the impression, and essentially it was for an interactive app, so you just swipe your finger and it changes colors. It's kind of like a configurator. Another piece that we've done using 3D, we've got tons of stuff, and as Duncan was saying earlier as well, we have the same issue with NDAs. We've got amazing projects that we've got going on at the moment, TV, cinema, all sorts, but unfortunately we can't show you all the bits and pieces. On our website you can see a few more pieces that we've got going on, and they span from automotive to industrial to character animation, your full kind of production line. So this was a character that we created. Again, it was for an interactive bit. Again, using our multimedia skills, we can take things and make them into websites, into apps, and all sorts of things like that. So this was an intro scene, introducing people to an animation. And most of the things that we do within the company, we don't really have clients who just come to us and tell us what to do and we just get on and make it. A lot of the things that we specialize in, they come to us and they say, right, guys, we have this amount of money, whether it's big or small, we want to do something. We're not sure exactly what, but what can you do? So then we usually go and do the brainstorming, the ideas, we write scripts, we write screenplays, we do that whole kind of production process, and we build together an idea, and then we go and present that to them and say, right, your money can buy you this, what do you want to do? And we kind of go along with that. So this piece was something similar to that. They said they had a core message that they wanted to get across, but whether they want to use 2D animation, 3D animation, or they weren't exactly sure what distribution method to use. So in the end, we created a 3D mascot kind of character. He introduces the service, the process. He works within a website and an interactive app, which we've built everything in-house. And we use many different distribution methods to try and get him across. So he is fully animated. I can probably dig out some of the animation files in just a moment, depending on time. Again, we cater for loads of different sectors, from, like I said, TV, movies, to industrial. We've got a piece here that we've done, like medical. We do quite a lot of medical things, some for training, some for advertising. And I would show you the animation on that one. Oh, actually, you know what? You probably don't want to see this particular animation. It's a little bit gruesome. The kind of research we had to do on that one was like, oh, you know what? It's a little bit gruesome. So, but again, a lot of the things that we do, this one was for a interactive training app, and those little bits and pieces there, they all work, like the rotation, the descent, and everything like that. It works with the animation. So the animation had to be accurate to what was actually happening on screen, along with the numbers, for it to show basically the students who are learning the medical trade. So, so that was very, very necessary. Other things what I've done for the industrial industry. So a lot of our clients, what they have is we have many industries, British-based industries, and they work with clients abroad. So what we do is they come and describe a problem to us, industrial, and the best way to showcase what basically their service is to visualize it. Not too many words, not too much audio, but just let the visuals kind of do the talking. So this is just a little piece, because not everyone, obviously, global, around the world, well, everyone doesn't really speak the same language. You've got loads of different things, loads of different language barriers and all sorts of things. So this was for, I think, one of our clients, Saudi clients, industrial piece, and how they just do a cleaning process. So I think I can try and play that. And again, in the beginning, we're going to try, this is a massive industrial furnace that we're going to try and stick a camera in there. They're really quick. It's going to melt. This thing is like burning at like 3,000 degrees or something like that. So it would have just been ridiculous to try and do. So this was just a quick animation. Again, we have to build things like this right from concept stage, from them just saying, we don't have any CAD plans. They kind of just give us a vague description. And we have to build these things in a matter of days, essentially, from the descriptions, particles, plus rendering and everything, and a little bit post-production as well. So we can't, unfortunately, always go photorealistics with everything that we want to do, but we just have to try and get the message across. So that goes on for a little bit, so I'll just go on to the next slide. So again, another piece that we use, and you'd be surprised in how much 2D animation there's actual 3D involvement. So we do a lot of 2D animation, illustrative, stylized types of productions. And if I kind of click along through that, there's loads of different styles, again, that you can use. And if you guys ever watch cartoons like Futurama, you'll probably be familiar with it, where things actually may seem 2D, but the camera flies around and it's actually all created in 3D. And we use those techniques quite a lot, where we have to have cameras flying through, or the angles have to change, or we sometimes just basically plate them all up. Have 2D scenes, and we stick them into Lightwave and let the camera fly through. And it gives us a bit more depth in particular places. And again, we can produce like different kind of styles, and so many things that we create, people would say, you've just done it in Illustrator, you've just done it in Photoshop. But you'd be surprised at how much we actually get done in Lightwave without even any form of post-production. So again, just simple things like our graphics and illustration. We would basically create rough models. I think Ian was showing earlier how they would comp out the scenes to get the composition, the camera angles, and things like that in 3D. And then we would just basically paint over the top. So we do that with a lot of the pieces that we've done. Like that piece down there, it was literally 5 seconds worth of just sticking in blocks just to get a kind of composition, and you just basically paint over it. So as a multimedia company, we can cater for all of those types of services. And there it goes, like one of those examples. So you basically do a paint over without spending too long doing your UV maps or anything like that, just so it can go through to the directors. Or the line managers and things like that. We kind of just can get our 3D bits, chuck some color onto it, send it over, let them pick the color tones and things like that, and then we can either use fiber effects or any other kind of fiber tools, and we can build that in. So this is like a really quick way to do it, because turnaround times is one of the key things. And that's going to be one of my key messages. You've probably seen the title at the top, speed and efficiency in Lightwave. So that's kind of one of our main bits in how we have to work as a company down where we are. There's not always those kind of big budgets. Other areas, again, using a bit of Lightwave, using a bit of post-production. This was a little piece that we've done for our Harrods. So a quick piece of Lightwave, you throw it in, match up the reflection, this and that. Not always everything's photorealistic. I think to do these two scenes, it went from a phone call about, I think that was about 10:30 a.m. by about 12 or lunchtime. These two scenes were created, thought about, rendered, and out to the client. That's how quick we have to turn around some things. So we can't always go photorealistic, but it's about getting that concept out to the clients for them to actually just see it in a visual way rather than just some doodles all the time. So again, websites is a place you probably never think that you can use 3D, but depending on how creative your thought process is, you can definitely integrate it somewhere or another. And I was saying, us as a company, instead of people saying to us, right, can you do this? They usually come and say to us, right, we want to do something again. What shall we do? This is our budget. So again, using our skills in programming, again, we do apps and everything like that. So we can build assets and items in 3D and build the whole website and infrastructure and sell websites instead of your typical drop-down menus and things. We can build and we can create stories within websites to help sell product. So in this particular example, we've got this bag, and I've not got internet access here, otherwise I will show you it working live. But essentially, you'll scroll your mouse, and we do all the programming as well, and it goes through as an interactive scene, and it shows you the bag opening up, how it functions, the facilities and things like that. So that's just a little bit of 3D included within a website. And I've got another example here again, so an interactive piece where we combine things like Unity, other programming languages, and again 3D to bring together everyday items. Everyone's always browsing websites, but it's just another way of delivering it. So in this particular scene, it's an interactive shopping center. So you'll go across and you'll select the bits, and you can genuinely click through, purchase it, go through the whole payment gateway. To check your basket, you literally click the basket. To go and check out, you hit the checkout and you move along to it. If you want to discover more or change items, you go through the change room. And there's a whole massive piece to it. We can't show all of the bits and pieces because it's still in development. But just another way of using 3D on an everyday item like just a website. So again, another website. On the face of it, you probably wouldn't think it. It looks more 3D than anything else, but again, it's all interactive. So I think this is where we've seen a lot of the places going, where we can use the world of 3D use programming, use the fact that HTML5 is now available with all these kind of interactive elements, and we can really bring them together and they'll work on your iPhone, your iPad without any issues. There's no Flash. We literally say no to Flash, and I think everyone nowadays is, because you've got your whole HTML5 languages. And all of these things integrate really well through the pipeline. So again, a website using a lot of 3D. We of course do visual effects and production. This was a little piece that we done for, I think it was for a safety film. I think I'm trying to play it here. Oh, no. Again, a little bit of photography which was supplied, and then we basically add in all the 3D pieces, just like I think Jonathan explained in the beginning, how we just lay our pieces up, kind of color it. We didn't get any kind of LUT files or anything. It's kind of crude. It's just a little piece that they had on their website. Again, things like that we have to turn around within like half a day. So really quick turnaround times from receiving the project, working out what it is that they need to do, and basically sending them the file by the end of the day. Another piece here. So this is shot using one of those, I think, Red One cameras on a little dolly track that they kind of ran across. And we got supplied this stuff in like 4K, a little bit of post-production over the top. Again, this was just a quick test scene just to show some of the bits. Then they're going to send it to the DI guys. They're going to do a bit of color coding, fix it up a little bit. But we were just trying to show them how it would work. So a lot of this stuff was actually After Effects with a few bits of 3D for explosions and things like that. So again, a great place to use 3D, which is definitely a growing market, is using augmented reality. I think Simon, he mentioned it earlier as well. So it's a great place. So you create all of your 3D assets and stuff, and this is a great blend between gaming, because you have to make sure your poly counts are actually decent. So, because it's all in real time rather than there's no pre-rendering. So you get your lighting, you get your surface maps, you burn all of your textures and things on to try and make it look realistic. And you can use it all sorts of different ways. We present it to people on banners, GPS location ones, and brochures, posters, and all sorts of things. Again, using our skills in programming and 3D being multimedia, we can bring all of those kinds of things together. So again, another example of how you can cater for multiple types of surfaces just using, and still utilize Lightwave. So this is a bit about our apps that we've created. So we create a number of apps. So this is that tractor that we showed you earlier. So again, the reason why it didn't need to be photorealistic, because it had to kind of work at a decent rate and pace. But again, we get the pieces, we clean it up, we build all the render files, and we integrate it all within the apps themselves. I think I've got one more shot of that. And I think in this particular application, you select all the bits and pieces, and it kind of configures it all together. I think when we were doing this particular one, we know how realistic we can go, and we tested some pieces. I think it's even on my PC on this one, but we can go hyper realistic. In fact, I think one of our salespeople contacted JCB. They're like, "Oh, we do it in house." Now we know exactly why. So there we go, Andrew. So, but anyway, so this is a bit that we do for apps, again, using everything here, 100% Lightwave, with a little bit of Unity and stuff thrown on top to try and build the interactive scenes. So again, like I keep saying, one of my key messages is about the fact that, you can cater for not just, you don't have to just go into film, you don't have to just go into TV, or you don't have to just do, just work in the typical world of product design or 3D based things. You can actually use 3D in a multitude of different type of service sectors. So you just have to think kind of outside the box, and somehow, some way, people can use your services. It's sometimes they just don't know that they need 3D within it. You just have to kind of convince them. So if you're ever looking for a job in 3D and you're struggling, and you go to someone and say, well, we're a web design company, why the hell do we need 3D? And you say, hey, look, you can actually utilize it in this way and that way, and they kind of just get open to the idea of utilizing 3D. So that was 6 services that we happen to offer, and each one of those has 3D and Lightwave around its core. But again, why do we use Lightwave and not any other software? Like I said, we've dabbled with all sorts of different software, but we're kind of stuck with Lightwave. But mainly, it comes down to the point that we have, as I just mentioned, some of those turnaround times from getting the project brief in to like outputting them within like hours or a day or even a couple of days. So tight deadlines within the kind of, I don't know, the projects that we seem to get in are just ridiculous. It's last minute things, people just want them. However, they want quick turnaround times, but they have your tight deadlines, but they have the crazy tight budgets as well. So again, this is where we found Lightwave to be our savior. We've meddled with Miah and Max, and to try and get that kind of production in, to try and get that kind of output in that amount of time, it just wasn't happening. It wasn't efficient, and we were just having to say no to projects. And then we kind of, many years ago now, actually, we started using Lightwave, and we found like the efficiencies, even though we have modeler and layout in 2 separate things, but the fact that they do have the connection points, and the way they everything can just be done within Lightwave without too many plugins. We've had guys talk about these amazing other plugins, but just natively, you can do pretty much everything within Lightwave itself, and that's what we found to definitely help us for these particular deadlines and budgets. So again, like I say, we have budgets, big and small, to cater for all of these types of services. And well, the great thing is, like I was just saying, again, it's that speed. So the fact that within just the Lightwave itself, without having to move to too many external things, we can output these things, projects. So the speed, the efficiency, the flexibility in Lightwave, and the way we can work. And like some of the other speakers today were showing you how in-depth some parts of Lightwave can become, whether it's a node editor, the other parts of texturing, how complex you can get within modeling. You can literally be a person who either does just rigging, you can specialize in just modeling, specialize in rendering. You can specialize in each of those areas, and that's great because Lightwave has that kind of depth within it. However, you can be a generalist, or you can just be, as an individual, you can be a one-person pipeline, basically, and do the whole process. And that's one of the biggest benefits that we've found so far. We have tons and tons of projects on at the moment. Like I said, we have some major projects, which unfortunately I'm not allowed to talk about. And those projects are great. You have massive budgets, and you can divide them up. Certain team can do the modeling, certain people can do post-production, and then the rigging and the texturing. And you have that nice kind of production pipeline. And but for smaller projects, by the time you divide all those projects up, you've eaten through your entire budget. So you need that one person who can just get on with the project. Right, here's the brief, and they take it from start to finish and deliver it back to us. And that's what Lightwave allows you to do. And that's one of the best parts about why we basically chose it over any other pieces of software. We've got tons of projects on at the moment, again, going from big projects to small projects. So the next thing is, if you guys are, skilled and you think you have what it takes to actually not just dabble in it, not just be a little bit of hobby, but you actually want to get involved in Lightwave for commercial use, for production, as a career. Like I say, we've got tons of projects on at the moment, so kind of happy to hear from you. So if you want to just email us at jobs@paintandpixels.co.uk, send us through CVs, show reels, anything that you want. And if you think you can either work individually or you want to specialize in individual areas, super. But if you think you can take projects on, again, we want to hear from everybody who wants to get involved in that. And so that is us, a kind of brief overview of the different things you can cater for using Lightwave and why we as a company chose to use Lightwave. So that is us. So does anybody have any questions? All good? Oh, someone over there. Yeah. One person. Yeah. In fact, that was me. And we were working on it. And we had a phone call, like I said, I think it was 10 o'clock. My team are, tied up doing a whole bunch of bits and bobs. I had a couple hours spare. And you kind of chuck it in, and away you go. You know what, to be honest, looking back at it, this was done about 3-4 years ago. Looking back at it, it could be so much more realistic. It's not TV quality, movie quality by any slight of the imagination, but sometimes you just need to get those things across in that amount of time. So one person, and that's the great thing again about Lightwave. You can just take it right from just doing the little bit of modeling and take it right through the whole process, just a single person. And that's how easy it is to learn Lightwave, how you can learn the entire production pipeline. So that's, again, one of the reasons why we chose to choose it as a company. So yeah, just a handful of hours, one person, and that's it. So any other questions? Yeah.
I'd like to give you something that I honestly think Chef Lightwave is the Swiss Army.
Yes, agreed. So yeah, it's just got all the tools that you need. We never find ourselves having to move anywhere else beyond Lightwave. Of course, you have your Adobe software, which is critical in everything, whether you move it into Photoshop, a bit of After Effects, and of course, you'll need Premiere to stick it all together, a bit of Nuke here and there if you need to. But otherwise, yeah, Lightwave pretty much has everything inside it. And in a lot of our projects, we can make a final render in Lightwave. Some guys will say, oh, you gotta add some kind of pieces, post-production to it. Levels are too high, this is that. But sometimes when you're doing pre-visuals especially, Lightwave has enough substance to it to just send a Lightwave render without too much post-production. And then when you're going to final things, then obviously take post-production, slice it up, do this and that. And some people will say that's a big no-no, but it allows us to get pre-visuals through pretty sharpish. Any other questions? Cool. I think that is it for us. And I think, there we go. Thank you very much.